Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious with Pathfinder Kingmaker, and today I'm going to show you my build, my character, and what I've come up with. I do believe I've built the strongest physical build possible in the entire game. I also believe that it's a fairly worthy build. Now, imagine my shock when I was first playing this game and trying to figure out what class to play. I, for one, love monks. There's something cathartic about punching things in the face. Unfortunately, in Pathfinder especially, and in Pathfinder Kingmaker, which is horribly balanced, monks are terrible. In fact, all physical classes are terrible. In fact, I was told that if you play a physical class, you may as well give up playing on any harder difficulty level than normal. For example, if you look at this screenshot, it says the following. I would rank them as follows, and this is the most OP builds. Druid 19, Monk 1. Sorcerer 19, Monk 1. Sorcerer 9, Monk 1, Arcane Trickster, or Eldritch Knight 10. Cleric 19, Monk 1. Kineticist 19, Monk 1. Do not play non-caster, it is painful. Did you notice something here, folks? These are all casters. You see, Pathfinder Kingmaker is so terribly unbalanced, unfortunately, like a lot of RPGs out there, that casters are OP compared to all physical classes. I wanted to prove them wrong. I wanted to prove that the monk deserved far more than just one level, and could be just as powerful, if not more powerful in many ways. And that's exactly what I did. Instead of Monk 1, we're gonna go Monk 18. Let me show you. So the first thing I'm gonna do is show you my build, and then I will show you us fighting God. And we'll see just how my build does. Now, I am playing on challenging mode because I heard that initially the game came out with normal mode, but normal mode was nerfed. And challenging mode is basically normal mode now, which is kind of lame. But that's how we went. I did this on challenging, and here we go. I'm using the respec mod for this, simply because you have no access to respec in challenging mode, only on normal. So here we go. In the Pathfinder system, you have different races to choose from. You have humans, elves, dwarves, gnomes, and they all have their own traits, buffs, and special skills. However, when it comes to Pathfinder, Aasimar is master race. You see, Aasimars are special. They're like humans, but better. They have celestial blood in their blood. And having blood in their blood allows them very special powers. Now, there are different classes. This is how I build it. I start with Monk, level 1, Scaled Fist because they're cool and they're dragon themed, and it fits perfectly with my build. Steeped in traditions that trace their origins to the warrior monks who trained under the tutelage of draconic masters. Scaled Fist ensue passive introspection in favor of unshakable confidence. Scaled Fists learn to combine brutal intimidation of an ancient worm to devastate their foes. And of course, red here. Okay, so we're going with the Scaled Fist. Now, their theme is they trained under dragons. They have some of the powers of dragons. They scale their dodge, AC, armor class off of charisma instead of wisdom. Most importantly, they have a theme of fear. Now, there are different heritages for each Aasimar, and which heritage you pick highly depends on what kind of build you're trying to make. Now for me, what I'm trying to build is a intimidation build. A build based on causing fear. Fear to my enemies, and eventually, when I punch God in the face, fear to him too. So, Angelkin, for example, is a +2 to strength and charisma, with a +2 racial bonus on lore, and use magic check, and a free lesser restoration spell per day. So, what I went with was Azata Blooded, Muse Touched. Now, why did I go with this? Well, it's really simple. There are only a few of these, Lawbringer and Muse Touched, that boost persuasion. And the persuasion skill is important in intimidating and making things scared. So I pick Muse Touched here. A +2 racial bonus to dexterity and charisma, and a +2 racial bonus to persuasion and mobility checks. And you can use glitter dust, not very useful. I use it like once or twice. Makes things sparkly. So this is the most important part of my build, and also why I believe that this build is so surprisingly good. You see, normally people would min-max. Maybe you would dump your intelligence, and then like someone would say, oh, pump up your charisma, pump up your main offensive stat, let's say dexterity here, and you know, just distribute to the rest. Most times people would tell you to do something like this. However, if you dump intelligence, you lose a lot of skill points. If you dump constitution, you lose a lot of hit points. You dump strength, you can't carry stuff. If you dump dexterity, you lose armor class. The monk is one of the classes that basically needs everything. So I want you to take a look at something. I found out, because of the way the math works, you see, when you pick a type of blood for an Aasimar, it gives you a +2 bonus to that stat. So dexterity starts with 12 and charisma starts with 12. But here's the thing. You see this little number here? For each point you spend in a stat, the more it costs. So I'll put 1 point into wisdom. It's at 11. Another point, it's 12. Another point, see at 13, it now costs 2 ability points to increase it further. But with charisma, we start at 12 and the cost is 1. At 13, the cost is still 1. At 14, the cost is still 1. At 15, the cost is now 2. So it's like getting a discount in 2 different attributes. And we can leverage this mathematics into technically getting 2 more whole ability score modifiers. For every 2, you get a +1. And these help your skills, this helps you be strong. For my build, it works especially, and I'll explain later, but it works especially. So here's what I discovered. If you distribute your ability points evenly, like this, like so, you get 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, and one of your favorite stats will be able to reach 15. In my case, that's charisma or dexterity. I chose charisma so I could get an extra key point for my monk's key powers. So what you want to do here is count these modifiers, and let me show you why this method is the best. First of all, a character like a monk needs almost every single stat. It's one of those classes that benefits from almost every stat. Wisdom helps your stunning fist. It helps you resist, it helps your will, which is to reduce mind effects, like magical effects to your mind. Intelligence helps you get skill points. Constitution is important if you're going to be a tank, because you need more health. Dexterity is important for armor class and to hit if you have weapon finesse. And strength is important for carrying stuff and damage. And charisma, of course, is important because AC, you get armor class from your charisma on a scaled monk, as well as a whole bunch of stuff. You need all of them. So look at the modifiers here. +2, +2, +2, +2, +2, +2. That is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You get +12 modifier. Now, I want you to compare that to min-maxing. So let's dump intelligence. Let's boost dexterity. Let's be conservative here and boost these to 16. And then maybe boost constitution and wisdom. You get +2, +3, +2, -2, +2, +3. So that's a +12. But you also have a -2. So although you've moved your modifiers over to the side, it's still not going to be as good. Because of this weakness, you've created a weakness for yourself. Now that would be a +12, but you have a -2 here, and if we add that, that's a +10. So when you don't spread your points evenly, you're basically giving up. I mean, you still have a +12 modifier, technically, if you add up the separate numbers, but you've cost yourself a huge weakness. On the other hand, you could distribute your points evenly, have +12 modifiers, but no weaknesses. And I prefer this method. So that's what I'm going to go with. Now, as for skills, here we go. Perception. To see things, that's really important in this game. This is why we invested in even stats. We get skill points. Persuasion, which is going to be the most important stat for this build. Use magic device. And trickery. We need trickery to level up. You can disable XP sharing and make it so that only the person who uses a skill check gets the XP. And you can use this to fastly train certain characters. So, next. So the first thing you want to take is Unarmed Strike and Crane Style. Now, the monk has a few options for fighting styles. There's pummeling style, dragon style, and crane style. Dragon style will boost your attack by focusing on your strength. Pummeling style will basically bypass enemy hardness and armor, but crane style will add armor class. It's the most useful power, and honestly, it's broken in this game. The reason you saw one level of monk on sorcerer and all these other caster classes was because crane style basically works on any class, with a very few downsides. It's broken. In my opinion, it should only work on monks. That being said, we're gonna go crane style. So this will give you a -2 penalty on attack rolls when fighting defensively. You also get a 1 dodge bonus to armor class. Fighting defensively is a type of fighting you can toggle, and what it does is boost your armor at a cost of your ability to hit things. So with crane style, you reduce the penalty to your attack rolls so that you can hit things better and get the armor boost. And as this ability upgrades, the penalty will get lower and lower until it's just -1, and you get a lot of armor. Out of all of the monk styles, crane style is the best.
Let's shake a leg!
I choose the madman voice. I typically choose death for my character's name. That's how I roll.
Forwards! No, backwards. Backwards!
So here we are on level 2. And in order to have an intimidation build, you need exactly one level of rogue thug. The reason we need this is for the class special feature. It's called frightening. Whenever a thug successfully uses persuasion to demoralize a creature, the duration of the shaken condition is increased by 1 round. In addition, if the target is shaken for 4 more rounds, the thug makes the target frightened for 1 round. So this little ability is key. It is absolutely vital to my build. This will make enemies afraid. The more shaken you put on a creature, the better. It'll make them scared, as it says in the ability. So with 1 rogue thug level, you get a sneak attack die, which gives you 1d6 of sneak attack damage. The way that works is 1 6-sided dice. So the game will roll a 1 6-sided dice, and it'll roll something between 1 and 6, and let's say you get a 4, that's 4 sneak damage. That's how dice work. You also get weapon finesse, which lets you use your dexterity modifier instead of your strength modifier on attack rolls. This will be useful for a while, but eventually strength will win out. So we're just gonna level the same skills. I'm also gonna level Arcana and Knowledge World so that I can identify items and cook food when we rest. For level 3, we're going to pick Alchemist, Vivisectionist. This is to get a sneak attack die and some spells. This level here is not completely necessary. However, you're going to see that it is, not only is it one of the best 1 levels you can take, you get a lot. You get a sneak attack dice, you get mutagen, and you get 2 spells. And all of that contributes to the build. I'll show you how. So the next thing you want to take is power attack. You're going to need this for the build as well. That puts another attack penalty, but it let's say it takes away, it scales as well. So let's say to begin with, it's a -1 to hit. It'll be a +2 to damage rolls, but it's necessary for the build. You'll see why later. So the spells we're going to take are really part of this build. 1 is shield. A monk cannot hold a shield. If a monk holds a shield, he loses his bonus attacks. A monk can hit more than a normal person. It's called Flurry of Blows. But you lose those extra attacks if you hold a shield. So we use the shield spell instead. And Enlarge Person. So these are the only 2 spells you need, honestly. You can pick whatever you want for the rest. It really does not matter. From here on, the rest is simple. We're going to take a 2nd level of Monk. So we get 5 ability points as we level up. The first one will go to Charisma to complete it. That's a +3 to Charisma. The next 2 will go to Strength and Dexterity. So 2 here and 2 here. That'll be 16, 16, 16, 14, 14, 14. The next bonus feat you want to take is Dodge on level 4. So for level 5, I usually take Accomplished Sneak Attack. This will give me another sneak attack dice. And my dragon is Black Dragon Acid. I picked Acid because it's the least resisted element in the game, but The theme also fits perfectly with my build. Lording over the darkest swamps and marshes, black dragons are undisputed masters of their domain, ruling through cruelty and intimidation. Those who dwell within a black dragon's reach live in fear. So for level 6, you want bark skin? This is really important. It scales as well, and this will give you extra armor. Natural armor to be specific. Now here we go. You want to take Crane Wing as soon as possible. When fighting defensively, with at least one hand free, that is again, you gain a +4 dodge bonus to AC against melee attacks. If a melee attack misses you by 4 or less, you lose this dodge bonus until the beginning of your next turn. So it adds another +4 to AC, on top of the AC you get from Crane style and fighting defensively, and it improves your ability. It improves the style. So you pick Crane Wing. Now, when I was playing this, I picked Leg Sweep to trip people, but tripping does not scale well into Endgame. So honestly, defensive spin is the best choice. Whenever you successfully hit an attack against a foe, you get a +4 bonus to dodge, but only against that enemy. So it's not the best, but it's really good against bosses. And this is my default ability. I have it on at all times. I usually level strength first because the carry weight is helpful. I played my game with only 2 people to begin with. It was my character and Valerie. So the game supports 6 companions. I played with 2 on challenging. Once both characters hit 20, I started training some others, and I would recommend you pick an alchemist, a pure alchemist. That'll be your buff bot. It'll give you the best buffs, and it will truly show the potential of this build. The next bonus feat you want to take is Intimidating Prowess. This will add your strength modifier and your charisma modifier to your intimidation checks. Now this is important. Remember, we spread out our stats evenly. And since you have 16 charisma and 14 strength, which will later be built up by gear and upgrades and whatnot, it fits perfectly, and it makes your Intimidate stronger. The next important power that you will find very useful is Scorching Ray. A very good power. It scales. Eventually you get 3 rays, and they do 4d6 points of fire damage each, plus sneak attack damage. So just the fire rays are 4 6-sided dice rolled and added up for each ray. Not bad. At level 9, you can take Crane Riposte. You probably want to complete the Crane style tree as soon as possible, because once you take Crane Riposte, your attack penalty when fighting defensively and using Crane style goes to -1. -1, that's it. And whenever you lose your dodge bonus from Crane Wing, you get an attack of opportunity, which is a free attack for you. So that's good. Although you can pick something like True Strike or Sudden Speed, Sudden Speed's actually a terrible power to take because the monk, he upgrades his base speed as he levels up. And unfortunately in this game, if you have 2 bonuses of the same type, for example, the Sudden Speed will give you an enhancement bonus to speed, but the bonus that the monk gets from leveling up is also an enhancement bonus, so they don't stack. So that power will eventually become useless. So I take Restoration, so I can heal ability point damage. So my magic device never goes beyond level 10. Honestly, I could have put it at level 8. After that, we're just going to max Trickery, Perception, and Persuasion. And the rest go into little things like Athletics or Mobility, maybe Stealth, just for skill checks and for more XP. And honestly, you don't need that much because you can stack equipment to pass skill checks and just keep rolling, saves coming. So now that we've got the Crane style out of the way, we want Cornigan Smash. Now, Cornigan Smash is vital. It is vital to this build. The reason is this. When you damage an opponent with a power attack, you make an Intimidate Persuasion check as a free action in an attempt to demoralize your opponent. So this is the reason we took power attack. Every time we hit someone, as long as we have power attack act on, and it's just a toggle, it's passive, you run an Intimidate check to every enemy. If you hit them hard enough, if they get scared enough and shaken enough, they run. They become afraid. I wouldn't call this the one punch build, but it's more like the one punch and they run away build. So Cornigan Smash. You can pick whatever style you want, but honestly, literally all I really used in this entire game was leg sweep and defensive spin. And defensive spin is my end game. It's always on. No reason not to. The more AC, the better, especially if you're going to play on harder than normal. So we've reached level 12. And, and the way you level these points up are obviously up to you. Just remember, you need all 20 levels to level trickery, perception, and persuasion. Make sure you have enough skill points. For example, I probably would have leveled athletics and mobility early on to pass certain skill checks. Without at least 1 point, you can't really do much. Anyways, we finally reached strength 16. The last 2 ability points will go to dexterity. So here at level 12, we're going to pick Dazzling Display. Now, Dazzling Display is useful and important for 2 reasons. So, the reason we have to pick a weapon focus, and in our case that's Unarmed Fist, is because it lets you take Dazzling Display. And what this does is the following. Your skill with your favorite weapon can frighten enemies. Benefit. While wielding the weapon in which you have weapon focus, you can perform a bewildering show of prowess. As a full round action, make a persuasion intimidate check to demoralize all foes within 30 feet who can see your display. So for the monk, it's really cool because his weapon is his fist. So he'll hold his fist up and there'll be a giant AoE wave and it will run an intimidate check on all the enemies. As long as they're not immune, there's a good chance they're gonna run. As a physical class, trust me, you want your enemies running away from you, because if they're not running, they're attacking you, and probably hurting you. So we picked Dazzling Display. My second power is Wholeness of Body, so that I can heal myself. You see, when I make a supreme build, a magnificent build, an ASMR Master Race build, I like the ability, both in role-playing and in this is what I would do in real life, to heal myself, to heal my ability damage, and to heal my health points. I like the idea of being self-sufficient, so I took Wholeness of Body to heal. One thing you really want to look out for, and I forgot to mention this, is the monk gets bonus feats, but the bonus feats come from a certain list. So be really careful. Do not waste your level feats, and these are the special skills we're picking here. Do not waste your level feats on feats that you can get from your bonus feats. It's a waste of a feat. It's a waste, because then your list is reduced and it's stuff you don't need. So all the vital parts of this build that you need, that you can get from the bonus feats, you get them from the bonus feats. That's why I'm leveling in a very specific way. You can switch it up a little, but you have to keep it in mind. So now at level 13, and I should have gotten this at level 11, but I forgot, which is fine, but you want to get this as soon as possible, is Wings. You can get this at level 11. That's when I recommend taking it. It's only available to ASMRs, and guess what it does? It gives you wings, and you get more armor. Plus 3 dodge bonus to armor class. And dodge bonuses stack. Unlike other types of bonuses, a dodge bonus will stack, so this is good. It also makes you immune to ground-based effects, like difficult terrain. So we're gonna pick wings. Okay, so we're at level 15 now. The build is coming along. We have 15 perception, 15 persuasion, and 15 trickery. Pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Now we're gonna pick, we're actually gonna pick a really important feat here. It's called Shatter Defenses, and honestly, the sooner you get Shatter Defenses, the better. So, this is a very important skill, and honestly, it helps a lot if you get it early. What it does is simple. Anytime an enemy is shaken, guess what? They become flat-footed. And guess what that does? It makes them lose armor. And this build is literally centered around making things shaken and making things afraid. So it's perfect. It fits perfectly. Not only are you going to be hitting your enemies hard, they're going to be scared, they're going to run, and guess what? They're going to be easier to hit. So you're going to want to pick Combat Reflexes with one of your bonus feats. This lets you do multiple attacks of opportunity, and you can make them while flat-footed. This is a really great ability, especially since you will have a lot of dexterity. So for each dexterity modifier, you can do an additional attack of opportunity. It's a special attack that's free, which means that you can do a lot within a single round. And it activates when enemies do stuff like, I don't know, they shoot off a bow, they do a spell, or they run away from you. You have a chance to do an attack of opportunity. Really good skill. I recommend picking it. It can wait though, so I take it at level 16. My next key power, now there are several offensive ones here, that do damage, but really you don't need it because the Scaled Fist gets access to Draconic Breath, and it's pretty much as strong as most of these powers, so I just use that instead. So what you want is Diamond Soul. This adds your monk level to your spell resistance, which helps you resist magic. The build is almost complete. Here we are at level 17. Dreadful Carnage. Now this one's really cool. I usually save it for last. You need Dazzling Display, you need Power Attack, you need a base attack bonus of 11, and you need 15 strength, which is another reason you want even stats. You can take more feats. So every time you kill an enemy, you basically get a free Dazzling Display as a free action that explodes. It does an AoE. So every time you kill an enemy, it does an intimidate check. It's pretty awesome watching explosions happen on the battlefield. So Dreadful Carnage. At level 18, you want Diamond Body. This makes you immune to poison. As you can see, I pick a lot of passive abilities. I really like passive abilities because they always work and they're always useful. So another reason that you want at least 16 levels of Monk is because the higher your Monk levels, the better your fists become at doing damage. At level 16, your Monk is considered adamantine, which means that basically your fists are considered strong enough to pierce through some of the hardest metal and material. You know, like fists stronger than steel. So that's one of the reasons you need that. And also, a lot of monk abilities are tied to level. So, although a level 20 monk, even though it would give you 10 damage reduction chaotic, honestly I think my build is better, and you'll see why. So the last feat I'm taking here, and again, the order in which you pick these is really up to you, is Persuasive. Now this is something that's useful to take early on, but at the same time it will make your other feats take longer to get. So this gives you a +2 to Persuasion and Perception, both important skills. But once you get 10 or more points in those skills, it becomes a +4. Now I pick this over the Skill feat, which gives you a maxed out, it gives you a +6, because technically you get more bang for your buck with Persuasive, and you get like a combined that's a +8. If you feel like sacrificing a feat, you could get rid of Accomplished Sneak Attacker and replace it with Persuasive and a skill feat for Persuasion, but it's really not necessary. So here we are, level 20. Let's finish the build and then I'll show you the gear. The last bonus you feat will take is Improved Critical. Just makes you more likely to do criticals. Unarmed Strike, and then the last power I took, there's a lot to choose from, but I took Abundant Step. I honestly wanted this power to begin with, but now that I didn't really need anything, I was free to take it. It lets you teleport. So, this gear is vital to the build. First off, you're going to want the Amulet of Mighty Fists. The maxed version is a +5. This gives you a +5 enhancement bonus on attack and damage rolls with unarmed attacks and natural weapons. You're also going to want to use Boken's Potion. It's his masterwork, and that will give you an inherent +2 to all your stats. So you'll be 18, 18 Strength and Dex, 18 Charisma, and then 16 Constitution, Intelligence, and Wisdom. So that will further your power. And again, it helps when you have an even spread. And of course, you're going to use that potion on your main character. So the Amulet of Mighty Fists is a +5 to attack and damage rolls. For this build, you need to be lawful evil, because there's monks can only be lawful, sadly. I'm a very chaotic person, and I like playing chaotic neutral. But out of the lawfuls, lawful evil is the most fun. It also has the best robe. So the evil robe, the Enforcer's robe, which unfortunately doesn't look cool like the image of the item. This will give you a 1 dodge bonus to AC and a +5 bonus to unarmed attack rolls and damage. It can only be worn by a monk that's lawful evil. Now, you want to be lawful evil 1 because you want to offset your power attack penalty as well as maximize your offense. So the belt is the belt of physical perfection. That's a +8 to your strength, dexterity, and constitution. Very good. The gloves will be the Manticore claws. You want this because it gives you a +2 bonus on your attack and damage rolls. Now all of this stacks. The amulet stacks with the robes. The claws stack on what you have. My boots are the Manticore skin boots. You have wiggle room here. It gives you a +10 to your speed, which at level 18 will put you at 100 speed. and a 4 enhancement bonus to natural armor. Now, your bark skin will give you a +5 to natural armor. So if you used bark skin, you would only get 1 more armor bonus, but I just like having the boots because it means I don't really have to cast bark skin all the time. It's not something I need to worry about, and when I do cast it, it's only 1 armor bonus. I usually cast it anyway, but it's just a nice thing to have. Realistically, in real life, you would want protection full time. So another thing is the Hat of Mental Perfection. That's a +8 to your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, of course. Look at these modifiers. +9, +9, +9, +7, +7, +7. That's huge. You get a crap ton of, I mean, look at my stats. 28, 28, 24, 24, 24, 28. And it's so even and so nice. It's such a nice pattern. 3 28s and 3 24s. As a monk, you want the Braces of Armor. That's a +8 armor bonus to your armor class. And for the cloak, I put the Castigator's Cloak. Only evil characters can wear it, and it's perfect for the build. +4 deflection bonus to your armor, +4 resistance bonus on all saves, a +4 enhancement bonus to persuasion when used to intimidate. Perfect. And a +2 attack on attack and damage rolls against shaken targets. Only by evil characters. See? It's all coming together. I built the ultimate build for this theme. So the ring I'm using is Ring of Circumstances. Really helpful. Every time you sleep, you can pick 4 abilities from this list. I usually use it to boost my strength, to boost my dexterity, to boost my charisma, and to boost my skill checks by 2. All by 2. I usually ignore the bonus to AC simply because I want more damage. I want to be able to carry more. So I pick strength over the bonus. Plus, the dexterity and the charisma will give you more armor as well. And I also use the Fortunate Fencer Ring. This gives you a +2 bonus to attack roll with melee weapons. It does work with unarmed. And this is the monk. It's pretty much finished. Now, I want to show you just how powerful this can be. I'm going to show you the final boss fight. But first, look at my attack bonus. Here you can see my total attack value is 37. Power attack has a -5 penalty, but this isn't insane. Most characters in this game can't get a total attack bonus above 30. Look at Valerie, for example. This is my main companion. Her attack bonus is 27. The thing is, monks are actually the strongest physical class in the game, and I'll explain why. It's because every other class that's physical and uses weapons is limited by the weapon. They're all capped. Valerie can only use a sword. Her attack bonus cannot be increased. So even without power attack, her attack bonus would be 33, which is still lower than ours. The reason this is because monks are special, and the Lawful Evil Monk is the most special of all. He has full access to the full attack bonuses, and I've combined all of them here. So without power attack, I have an attack bonus of 42, and that's not with buffs. My AC is 50, 51 with bark skin. But as you're gonna find out, this isn't my max, not by 4. Let's fight God. So here I am fully buffed. So I used my alchemist to give me the best buffs, and these are my buffs. Heroism, greater. That's a +4 morale bonus to attack. Stone Skin Communal, that's a 10 damage reduction. Shield, that's a +4 to my armor class. Blur, that's a 20% chance for people to miss me. Aid, Displacement, which makes me harder to hit. False Life, which increases my hit points. And Legendary Proportions. Now this one's really important. It gives you a +6 size bonus to strength, a 4+ size bonus to constitution, a +6 bonus to natural armor, and also damage reduction. Melee and ranged weapons also increase. So the reason you want enlarged person as part of your skill set is because in this game, the size of the creature boosts the attack of the weapon. So for the monk, who normally does like 2d10 dice damage or something, that dice will go from 2d10 to 3d10. And at legendary, it doubles. It goes from 2d10 to 4d10. Okay, for a monk, that's for a max level monk. My monk will have 2d8 dice. So I get 4d8 dice at legendary size. Now look here. My attack bonus is through the roof. 43. 43. That is insane. Without power attack, that would be 48. No other class comes close. Even Valerie here, who's large, she's large size, only has an attack bonus of 30. Meanwhile, my character hits absurd levels. No other physical class in the game can achieve this attack rating. It is the single most powerful physical class in the game, period. No other class can achieve this. There is no higher attack bonus. I don't even think Kineticist can match this. It's impossible. And actually, I can up it even further. You see, my monk actually loses 2 attack bonus because he only has 18 levels of monk. But if I also cast transformation on him, that gives him a higher attack bonus. 43. Without power attack, that's 49. 49 attack bonus. But enough about that. Let's see this in action. Right now it says my AC, my armor class, is 66. However, in practice, it's a lot higher. In fact, it can breach 80.
Oh yes, the time has come. The time of fate and curses.
As you can see, I made God cry. I punched him in the face. God had a difficulty rating of 57. That means I would have to have enough intimidate to scare him. 57 or higher. My base intimidate is 60. So even without rolling a dice, I would be able to scare him. But you also roll one dice that's 20, has 20 sides, like 1 through 20. So I rolled a 18. So I rolled a 78 intimidate. I scared him.
You don't seem to like my curses. Maybe I like myself better. The attack. Come The time for laughter is past. It's the hour of hunting. Chaos.
Now I'm trying to see if any enemy hit me so you can see my armor dodge bonus. Okay, so here we go. As you can see, my actual armor value is actually higher. Here it says 70. However, please make note, my armor, this is without Crane Wing. So with Crane Wing, that's a 74. With defensive spin, that's a 78. My dodge bonus can exceed 80. If I did my math right, 78 isn't too shabby either. So the armor of this class is a lot more powerful than it actually looks. 78 is not too shabby at all. Some of the armor stuff doesn't show up on character screen, but it shows up in the game log. Where is God? I need to hit him. There he is. Thought he could run from me. Again, he's still running. Like a little puny god. Now this is him in his true form. Let's see how my build does against him. Do you think I can scare him?
What you called your essence is yours no more.
One of the best parts of having a high persuasion skill is being able to do stuff like this. I'm gonna bluff against God. I win.
Let us continue.
He's trying to curse me right now.
See, true. Being an eldest means being one of the many strings that hold the world in place. Being an eldest means
So he fails to curse me simply because I win the game of words. Now let's punch God.
Play with words. Let us see if you can withstand the heat of my fire.
One hit. One hit and God is running away. Now, to be fair, he's not really a god. He's more like a demigod. Here you can see I succeeded in my intimidate check. His difficulty class as his demigod true form is 45. He didn't stand a chance. Monks are weak, they said. Monks aren't strong, they said. And that's why my monk is the strongest monk in the game. It's the strongest physical build possible, and honestly, I think my build gives caster classes a run for their money. For a game that incredibly favors casters, it's not too shabby. And I believe this is an example of one of my basically ultimate builds. There's no stronger physical attack. I'm pretty proud of it. I hope you enjoyed this build video. I hope you enjoyed watching me show you what it can do. And I hope this makes you interested in the game. I spent 700 hours in it, so I never played a game that much before, but this is a result. Hope you enjoyed it. There you go. My build. See you all next time.